Please start working. There we go. Okay. A few minutes early, but that's all right. Change audio quickly. All right. To 15 minutes of yoga. Oh, wait a few seconds. Super easy stuff today. My strap. Yourself a belt. If you don't have a yoga mat, a thick blanket will work just fine. Not a whole lot of craziness gonna happen today. We're gonna do some half lotus during the movement to help build strength through the knees, build some flexibility through the hip, and also help the ankles as well. Super important to find a comfortable seated position. If you have yoga blocks, I highly recommend them, mainly because if you have a hard time getting your feet underneath your legs, then this will be a good thing for you, a boon. If you don't have a yoga block and you still struggle, you can use a thick book, especially if it's a hardcover. You want to make sure you have a blanket or a towel to place over top of it to increase the comfortability of sitting on a harder surface if you are sitting on a hard-covered book. Soft-covered books a little bit better, mainly because it's the soft cover. And paper is quite comfortable, it's quite soft to sit on. So, good alternative to a yoga block is a book. If you are sitting on a yoga block or a book, make sure that you are sitting to the edge of the yoga block or book. This will help engage into your sit bones. If you need a greater breakdown of those sit bones in my 45-minute videos, I do go into greater detail of how to sit. We're going to get straight into this seated position. Make sure you keep your strap within a comfortable range so that you're not straining yourself to reach for it when we do need it. We're starting here 5 minutes. If you want to sit in half lotus, or if you are comfortable getting into full lotus, that's fine. If you want to sit in easy pose just like this, go ahead. Again, this is what this yoga block or books are for, is to increase the comfortability of sitting in this posture. This is very important for better blood flow and all those other things that I do mention in my 45-minute videos. Reaching underneath, we're going to pull the sit bones out of the way. We're going to engage into the sit bones, pushing our pelvis forward, increasing that comfortability, sitting into the bones, reduces fatigue. And if you want to, you can get into a half lotus now, or full lotus. I like half lotus because I am still not flexible enough in my knees to do a full lotus for an extended period of time. Find a comfortable seated position, hands down by the glutes, or resting the hands in the lap or on the knees, wherever you prefer. I'm going to go with my lap today. From here, we're engaging into Mula Bandha, or power lock at the bottom, Uddiyana Bandha, power lock in the abdomen, and Jalandhara Bandha, power lock in the chin. We're pulling the shoulder blades together, roll those shoulder blades down. You want the benefits. Again, my 45-minute videos break down the posture for you in greater detail. Getting into the breath here for the next 3 minutes or so. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Breathing through the nose if you can. Engage Ujjayi breath here. Set your intentions, affirmations. Why do you practice yoga? What kind of energy do you need for yourself? And let go of everything that happened before we started here. And let go of everything you need to do after we are done here. Focus on the inhales and exhales. Stay in the present moment. You'll feel refreshed and rejuvenated by the end. Three-second inhales, 4-second exhales. If the mind is wandering, soften the gaze, find somewhere to stare at on the floor or the wall in front of you, or close the eyes. Switching my feet now. A few more breaths here. Straight into the movement now. We've sat for about 5 minutes in breathing. We are going to get into a hamstring stretch. This is a big toe pose hold, so this is where we want to use the strap. If you cannot reach your toes with your big toes being the anchor here, you're going to use your index finger and thumb to wrap around the big toe and hang on. If you cannot reach your toes, you don't have a belt or a strap to use, you can also grab onto the thighs or onto the pant legs, or the calf, sorry. Pant legs also work if you're wearing socks. You could grab onto your socks. The goal here is to bend at the belly button and bring the belly button towards the ground. You do not want to bend in your back. You want to keep your back straight and strong. If you have a strap or a belt, you're going to place the strap or belt across the big toes and the little toe mounds, so right across the toe mounds as best you can. And then from here, if you want to, you can bring the feet together. Does not matter if they're feet hip width apart or a foot or a few inches, it's up to you. And then from there, you're going to use a strap. You can walk the hands down the strap to increase the flex and the stretch that you're going to get through your hamstrings. Key goal here is to pull the toes towards the knees. For 3. For 2. Last breath here. And 1. From here, we're going to get into a half lotus stretch. So again, we're going to sit back into that comfortable cross-legged position. The goal here is to get your heel as close to your hip socket as you can on the opposite side. This is what the strap is going to be used for. If you do not feel comfortable placing the strap around your body, you can use the strap around the foot. The idea here is to really wrap the strap wherever is comfortable. Preferably You want to be as high up on the foot as you can, but if that's not comfortable for you, you can go down to the middle of the foot or up on top of the ankle joint. Entirely up to you here. You got to listen to your body. The goal with this is we are wrapping the strap or the belt around the body and coming out on the other side. This is going to allow us to have greater leverage in pulling this heel into the socket. We're going to do both sides because equal and opposites here. I'm going to adjust the strap so I get an even greater stretch through the ligaments and tendons in the front of my leg. Entirely up to you here if you are struggling with this, and you might be out here, wherever you might be. Listen to your body. Don't push yourself too far. You don't want to injure yourself. The goal is to work at this incrementally over time. It has taken me probably about 3 or 4 years to be able to even get my heel anywhere close to my hip. So keep that in mind. It is a personal practice. You should not push yourself. You don't have to look like a model yogi. That's not what yoga is about. Western society has perverted yoga to a point where it is just seen as a flexibility and meditation practice when it is a whole body and lifestyle practice. So sitting as comfortably as you can here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last breath here. If you wanted to too, you could use your arm if you don't have a strap and push up and down the front of the foot and through the front side, trying to drive this knee closer to the ground as best you can. And coming out of that, we're going to take care of the ankle here because we did use it a lot. If you can place your ankle across your foot, you can get the ankle rotations there, or if you can't, you can just go out in front and do some ankle rotations here. Very important here to bring blood flow back into the area. We did sit there for quite a few minutes of breaths, so it's important to get the equal and opposite movement. Equal and opposites, we're going to the other side. Same thing, other side, drawing that left heel as close underneath the body as we can. Again, sitting on a yoga block is a boon here. I'm not going to use the strap on this side. I'm just going to use my arm, drawing that heel in as close as you can wherever you're at. If you are here, you're going to be trying to inch that foot up the leg. If this is too much for you, you can also go out onto the leg and pull and draw this leg up until you're comfortable enough to be able to cross the foot underneath and have the flexibility. Again, this is something that you should be trying to practice weekly if you can, 3 times minimum a week. This will improve circulation and strength and flexibility through your knees, into your hip joint, and into your ankle. Find the strap if you need it. I'm using my arm this time and pushing my toes straight. You want to be able to, instead of having your feet like this or toes pointing towards, you want to curl your toes down. This increases the length of the ligaments and tendons, increasing the stretch through the front of the leg. Again, we stand with our feet like this all the time. It's very important to get the equal and opposite of stretching the opposite way. That's 3. That's 2. Last breath here. And 1 coming out of that. From here, we're going to lie straight onto our back. We're going to set ourselves up before coming into our Shavasana after this, but we're going to do a figure 4. This also works on the muscles that we will need to help loosen them up, but also get our heel in closer to that groin. This is a figure 4, lying onto the back. If you need this strap, once again, very important to listen to your body. I don't know your body, only you can listen to your body. I can only show you the techniques that have been developed over thousands of years. We're taking the right foot, placing the right heel on top of the left knee. From here, you're reaching through the leg. You're grabbing behind the thigh or in front of the shin. If you can't do that, you're going to use the strap to go out in front of the shin, and you're just going to lie back and pull this right foot as close to your face as you possibly can. If you wanted to, you could get a double stretch here and push the left leg straight, or you can stay here. Entirely up to you. That's 2 breaths. Pulling the toes towards the knees will help reduce cramping through the legs and into the feet. That's 4 breaths. 1 more breath here. And that's 5. We're releasing that stretch, getting into our glutes, hamstrings there. Same thing, opposite side. Left foot's going on top of that right knee. If you need the strap, once again, behind the thigh, in front of the shin, wherever you are at. Lying back with the head onto the floor. Inhaling, releasing the stretch. Exhaling, pulling that knee closer to the face, that foot closer to the face. Two more breaths here. And this is the last breath. Coming on out of that, I'm going to turn around because we're ready for Shavasana now. Relaxing onto the floor into our corpse pose. We are lying with the feet spread about hip width apart or wider, whatever's comfortable for you. Relaxing all the way from the toes, relaxing those toes towards the outside wall, all the way up through the heels, the calves, the shins, the thighs, hamstrings, hips, lumbar spine, and abdominal region. We're getting to the thoracic spine and the rib cage, relaxing up to the chest. From here, we're going to push into the backs of our elbows to roll our shoulder blades underneath the body, opening that rib cage nice and wide, allowing our diaphragm to do its job. Tucking the chin down 1/2 inch to 1 inch. We'll spend a few minutes here in relaxation, finding somewhere to stare at the roof or closing the eyes. You could dim the lights here if you really wanted to. Again, nice deep inhales and exhales for the next 3 minutes or so. Ujjayi breath, placing the tongue at the roof of the mouth where the teeth and the gums meet. Extending that cervical spine as far as you can by tucking that chin down, allowing the air to swirl in the back of the throat. Palms resting on the chest, face up or face down on the floor, wherever you prefer here. I'm going to do face down on the floor today. Again, staying in the breath here, letting go of everything that happened before we started. Letting go of everything that you have to do after we are done here, focusing to the breath. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Setting that intention, using affirmations, closing the eyes if you haven't already. 3-second inhales, 4-second exhales, and counting those breaths if you have an overactive mind. Being conscious of the rise and fall of your stomach and lungs. Using that diaphragm for what it was made for. Slowing the mind. Withdrawing the body from its sensory pleasure organs. Focusing on the here and now. It's been a little over 3 minutes. I'm going to bring some gentle movement back to our bodies, wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes. Get some wrist and ankle rotations going, a few rotations one way, a few rotations the opposite way. I'm going to flex into our abs, pull our knees up into our chest. And just really love ourselves here. Rock back and forth about 2 to 3 inches left and right. A nice massage for the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys and the hips here. From here, we're going to roll onto our right side into a fetal position. Take a few breaths here. And we're pushing back up to our cross-legged position as best we can. If you can, keep your eyes closed. And do 2 cleansing breaths here. Nice deep inhale. And sigh on the exhale. Last one. Nice deep inhale. And sigh. A little bit more than 15 minutes. Thank you for taking care of yourself, because taking care of ourselves is the best way that we take care of others. See you in the next one, 45-minute video of taking care of ourselves. Bye for now.